Can you hear me, Kevin? Yes. Okay, good. I was just saying, I'm not sure if you've practiced Yin before, but whether or not you have, in this class, we really just go nice and slow. Really, the emphasis is on connecting with the body, and so just being really, really aware of how you're feeling as we go, and going into postures to a depth that feels like it's the right sweet spot where you're getting a stretch but not straining. Anyway, it'll make sense as we go, and perhaps you're an old hand anyway at this, I don't know. Here's Meg. Welcome, first time here as well, and May with a little knee pain. So yeah, just for everybody, take it easy, please. This is not a high energy class by any means. This is really about introspection and sort of a meditative approach. Let's get started. I'm going to turn my hourglass over to mark the putting aside of 1 hour here together to practice, using the postures to get into the body, not the body to get into the postures. And if you have those props I mentioned, oh, thanks about the plants. That's great, but if you don't worry about it. You don't need them too much. It can just be useful as all. Okay, not time for cuddles. So we start by finding a comfortable seated position, or even if seating or seated isn't right for you, you can lean up against a wall, lay down on your back, sit in a chair. Otherwise, sitting here, perhaps on a cushion, using any kind of pillows or props to make sure you're comfortable, feeling that surface beneath you. You can wriggle around and really feel that you're supported and balanced. I like to bring the forefinger and the thumb together sometimes just to really help with the focus, sort of sealing the energy in the body. And start to arrive by closing the eyes or having a soft gaze. Either way, eyes not moving around, starting to become a little still, quiet. And noticing the movement of breath in and out of the body. Noticing where you feel it most, perhaps abdomen expanding and contracting, or perhaps the chest lifting and falling. And noticing your state of mind right now without any judgment. Just becoming aware. And let's start with a little chanting. I invite you to join me in the sacred sound of Om, feeling the vibration in the body and in the room you're in, and connecting here with one another across the ether. So let's exhale and deeply inhale for the first of 3 Oms. Just bring a little movement into the body. You can keep the eyes closed and really focus in on how everything feels as we move slowly, mindfully, or at least have heavy lids, gentle eyes, soft. And we roll the shoulders. See if they feel like big, exaggerated rolls forward and up, back and down, or maybe they just want to move really delicately, responding to what the body feels like today. And reverse the direction when you're ready, feeling those 4 directions as you move. Even if the rolls are very smooth and flowing, still noticing how the muscles move differently depending on which direction you're moving. And let's keep the movement going, bringing the chin around to the right. Taking a couple of breaths, allowing the shoulders to soften. And very gently rolling, gliding over to the left. Stopping where you feel that point of resistance. And breathing into it, softening, letting things release a little bit here. Working with the vagal nerve. And back through center. Pause and bring chin to chest. Still with a little lift at the back of the head. Shoulders relaxed. And when you're ready, slowly tilting the chin up. Bringing the breastbone a little bit. Again, shoulders are relaxed. And back through center. Let's take both hands to the outside of the right leg and keeping the spine spacious and tall, twisting gently to the right. And releasing on an exhale slowly around to the left. And back through the center. Let's just roll the wrists around. We're going to be using the wrists a little bit here for support, so I'm going to wake them up, make sure they're juicy. Maybe flick away any unwanted tension, if that works for you. And then it's something massage therapists do between clients. And let's make our way onto hands and knees. Very slowly here, no hurry. It's really stepping into the body with full awareness. And don't worry too much about alignment here, but just how it feels in the body, wanting to feel balanced and supported. Things in a position that feel neutral to you in your body. Palms under the shoulders roughly, fingers spread, comfortable distance, and knees under the hip joints. Some length in the spine. Spine has natural curves. It's not exactly straight, but getting some length there. Reaching through the crown and through the tailbone to do that perhaps. And let's move through the body here, feeling the fingertips not rolling out onto the palms, so feeling all of the palms pressing down fairly evenly, thumb. And perhaps the inside of the elbows points to the top of the mat. Getting the shoulders in a steady position. And the tops of the feet behind you are relaxed, flat, as they can be on the mat. Let's bring the hips down towards the heels, not all the way. And then come forward, playing around with the amount of load that we're placing on the wrists. It's going to be different for each of us, so you may not be coming that far forward, or maybe you are. Again, making sure those handprints are fairly even, as if you're pressing them into wet cement and you want to get them even. in the mark that they leave behind. And let's do some circles here too, getting into the hips a little bit. Each direction. And coming back to a neutral position, taking left leg back, reaching through, toes curled under the heel, the left heel. And release. And we'll do the same the other side. Right leg comes back. Gentle gaze just between the fingertips if you can. And release back. And let's do a few cat-cows here, keeping everything neutral to begin, that setup that we did earlier, and then just curling the tailbone in. Then the belly button comes to the chest, and then the chin comes down. Keeping this arched kind of Halloween cat position. Just starting with the tailbone, rolling that out first, then the belly comes down. And you can look ahead or up. Maybe even rolling the eyes up as far as you can see without wrinkling the forehead too much. And then again, staying here in this cow position and then just curling the tailbone under. Belly button to the spine, chin to the chest, and maybe rolling the eyes down as far as you can see, down past your chin. We'll do a few more of these, feeling how the roll kind of moves like a wave up the spine. See if you can even feel each vertebrae as you move. Rather than moving in one block up and down, it's a wave-like motion in the spine, opening and squeezing on each side as we move. And when you're ready, come back through the center. You can make a C shape or a half moon shape with the spine from above by looking over the left shoulder, opening up the right side, squeezing the left side gently, and then release back through center, and same to the other side. And back through to our set-up position. Let's bring the right foot forward and come up with sort of like right angles with the legs, not overly worried about that, but just that sort of upright position. Again, spine long and spacious, reaching through the crown gently. You have the hands on the upraised knee or by your sides. And very slowly starting to melt down and forward, leading with the pubic bone rather than the belly, so keeping that length upwards with the torso, shoulders relaxed. You can have that chin mudra happening again if you like, if it helps with the concentration. Forefinger and thumb together gently, not squeezing. And while you don't want that right knee to come over the ankle too far, maybe scoot the foot forward as you start to soften and open a bit. Come forward a little bit to see how it feels in your body. Both legs taking the weight evenly, fairly evenly here, so not all in the front leg. So you can press down gently with the top of the left foot. And feel free to stay here, feeling the release, the stretch gradually deepen. If you're not forcing things, it'll open a little bit more willingly, I find. And if you like, you can bring the fingertips to the mat for a little balance and begin to rock the hips from side to side very gently. And you might find that you feel a line of tension somewhere in one of the positions as you slowly wriggle and rock. If you do, perhaps pause there and start to breathe into it. See if it releases and fades. And continue to rock and find another one. Maybe. Feel free to stay there with that one or come back into a bowing dragon, as the Yinsters call it, the toes reaching towards the mat unless they're perhaps already there for you or not, doesn't matter. And then start to rock the toes from side to side of that right foot, eyes resting on the floor, or even closed lids to really focus in on how that feels for you at the back of the leg perhaps. Working with the fascia here, that like the inside of a grapefruit or an orange, the pith around the muscles connecting them all. And then come forward once more when you're ready. Always feel free to stay doing what you're doing if it feels really delicious. And then step the back foot forward. We come into our first forward fold here, Uttanasana. Knees nice and bent as much as you need to. The feet are together, parallel or perhaps hip width distance. Just go with what feels right in your bod. And the belly's resting on the thighs probably. Maybe the fingertips feel good on the mat for like a grounding feeling. Or perhaps you want to take hold of the elbows, see how that adjusts the sensation, how the muscles are being stretched. Back of the legs, lower back, head and shoulders are hanging heavy to use gravity here. And again, not worrying too much about alignment, but seeing if things change for you in terms of how it feels if you start to focus on very gentle engagement of the arches of the feet. Just being aware of them being fairly activated, not slumping down. That'll make a profound difference for you, or nothing at all. It depends on the person. And then the hips can be stacked over the heels, or perhaps they're back a little bit behind the heels. Just play around with that. Always come out if you start to feel a bit off or like this isn't right for you. Otherwise, staying here, finding some stillness, or gently moving to feel around here. You can even micro bend one knee as you straighten a little bit the other one. Just moving very slowly and then shifting to the other side. See how that changes the sensation elsewhere in the body, like in the low back. All connected through the connective tissue, the fascia in particular here. And stay there playing around with that one, or just holding it very still. Or if you like to move on, you can bring the right leg back. And again, come through the dragon series or lunges here. Find a position for the hands where you're very conscious of what they're doing. And start to melt forward and down again, leading with the pelvis. Eyes resting with a closed or open, either way. Working towards pratyahara here, sense withdrawal. So not taking in too much information from outside. It's more about what's going on inside the body. And slowly melting, opening here, staying with it if it feels really good. Or if you want to bring fingertips down, and we'll do that rocking on this side. Belly on this side resting or squeezing onto the top of the left thigh, getting a little bit of a massage here as well. Good for digestion. And again, hold a position that feels like, might just explore what's happening here. It feels a little tight or tense. Even direct the breath to that part of the body. And if you like, bowing on this side as well. Again, toes towards the mat. And gently rocking the foot from side to side. See if it feels a little different on this side. Noticing you move the toes. There's a feeling not just in the toe but all the way up the leg. Again into the low back perhaps here. Maybe somewhere else in the body too. Coming forward again. Let's plant the hands this time. Again, palms equally spread on the floor, perhaps fingers spread nice and wide, curling the right toes under and stepping back into a very gentle down dog here. So knees are kind of a little bit bent as much as you need them to be. And let's move through the body here. Again, noticing the way the palms are on the floor. Maybe feeling the periphery of the palms and the base of all the fingers and thumb on the mat, creating a little bit of a suction and support for the shape. And then moving up the inside of the lower arm, noticing the elbows as you pass through, up into the upper arms, shoulders, and all the way up either side of the spine to the sits bones, high toward the ceiling or the sky if you're outside. And then let's bring our awareness down to the heels and start to feel up from the base of the heel underneath the foot, through the lower leg, through the knee, upper leg, into the sits bones again. Energy coming up from the ground up to the pelvis. And when you're ready, come out very slowly, bringing the knees to the mat. And hips to the heels. Sitting back in Vajrasana, hands on the knees. And let's just take a pause here. Checking in with the body again. And a state of the mind. No judgment. And let's bring the feet out from underneath and come down into a lying position, Savasana. I'm going to turn around a little bit here. Arms out front, palms up, and slowly rolling yourself down. If you want to, you can come down any way you want. And just let go a little bit here. Arms and legs a comfortable distance away from the body, palms are facing up. Or perhaps the hands are on the lower rib, if that feels more comfortable to you. Let's bend the knees here a little bit, so not with the feet right up to the hips, but rather 12 to 15 inches away from the glutes or hips. Knees and feet in one line with the hip joints. If you want to feel where the hip joints are, you can feel around the hip bones on the outside, and then come in a little bit and feel that hollow just inside the hip bones, which is where the hip joints are. And then release the hands back into a position that feels comfortable, safe. Feel all the toes spread evenly on the floor. Gentle engagement again on the insides where the arches are of the feet. And start to notice what points of contact you're making with the floor, with the upper half of the body. So the lower back, the lower rib, all of the rib cage and the shoulder blades and shoulders. Feel where the weight is being held most for you, maybe the pelvis, back of the sits bones. Perhaps there's a little arch in the spine at the lower back, it's no worries. Just noticing for you what's happening. You might want to rock the pelvis up and down a few times and just really get a feeling for where it's sitting for you right now. And let it go and relax and see if just by staying here, softening, having our awareness in the body, it might start to become a little bit more even, releasing. And let's bring the arms out nice and wide now if you can. Perhaps cactus shape with the arms, elbows bent. And very gently bringing the knees over to one side and then to the other side. Very slow, dynamic spine twist here. And you might want to bring the head across to the opposite side. Just being really aware of how that feels for you. You might want to change the position of the feet, higher or lower. Notice how that affects where the twist is happening in the body, in the spine, upper or lower, perhaps more in the middle. And just choose where you want to feel the twist most. Coming through back to a neutral position. Bring the feet close as you can up to the hips this time. And hands alongside the body, palms down. If that feels comfortable to you. Feet evenly spread. Toes on the floor. And just gently lifting the hips and lowering them down a few times. Again, feeling that alignment of the knees and the feet with the hip joints. And feeling perhaps that wave-like motion up the spine as you lift the hips and feel the movement travel all the way up to the top of the spine. If you want to hold the position, no worries. You can bring the hips up high, then perhaps roll to the right shoulder and tuck the left one under a little bit, and roll to the left and tuck the right one under a little bit, and find a nice balanced position. If you have a book or a block, you can place that under the hips. Otherwise, hold here, the chest coming towards the chin rather than the chin toward the chest. So face is neutral, kind of parallel with the ceiling. And just breathing here, calming the body down in this back bend, which is stimulating the sympathetic nervous system. But all of it under our control here. Can lower down and do some dynamic bridges, or just take a couple of breaths and then come back up. And when you're ready to come out, again lowering the hips, gently releasing the shoulders, maybe squeezing them to the ears a couple of times and squeezing them down towards the feet. Then find a neutral position, taking hold of the knees, perhaps rocking from side to side to massage the low back there. Or if you like, coming into happy baby, taking hold of the outsides of the feet, knees nice and bent, and really softening here. No gripping at all, apart from the hands a little bit with the toes, the fingers around the feet, but no holding, I guess is what I mean, in the hips, which can be a natural reflex. I know for me at least, just really staying mindful of being soft and yielding. And gently letting go of the feet, allowing them to come down. And I want to move into one of my favorite yin postures, which is banana asana. So probably not that traditional, but it is in the sense that it's an Ardha Chandrasana, half moon shape on the floor. And be really mindful here, because it may not seem like we're doing much, but we're going to stay here for a little while, so it starts to become quite intense. So starting in a straight line on the floor as much as you can be, nice and long, balanced equally, left and right on the floor. And you can bring the arms up overhead, taking hold of each opposite elbow, and kind of lift the upper body a little bit and bring it over to the right hand side. And then bring the right leg over to the right, followed by the left leg over to the right. And here we are as a banana. And if you want to, you can cross the left leg over the right, or the ankles. Or even try the right one over the left and see how that changes the sensation. Or just have them uncrossed. See what feels like we're stretching but not straining anything. And as I said, we're going to be here for a little while, so it starts to become more intense. Feeling that opening on the left side as again we yield and let go. No gripping anywhere in the shoulders. And while the hands are taking hold of the elbows, they're not gripping either, they're softly holding. And if there's any tingling sensation in the arms, simply just bring them down and find a place for them. Again, maybe the lower rib cage could be a nice spot for them to rest, or the belly. And as you start to really feel this one, as in how it feels in your body, you may want to adjust, perhaps bringing the torso a little bit more over to the right, crossing the legs a little differently, or perhaps straightening your banana a little bit more. See what you need to do here, and then find your stillness again, just breathing here, feeling the effects of the shape. Ripening here, going a little mushy. I don't like mushy bananas, but we want to be mushy here in yin. And when you're ready to come out, you can bring the torso back, the head and the legs. Make sure you're sort of neutral now, there's no pulling in any direction. You can hug the knees back into the chest again and rock from side to side. Let that one release, settle in. Or you could even just lay in Savasana and feel its kind of echo through the body. Just go with what feels right to you here. And let's release the legs back down again. We'll do the other side, evening things out as always. So arms up overhead, gently holding onto each opposite elbow and bringing the torso over to the left, or the head and torso. And then bringing left foot and then right foot. Finding your point of focus on the ceiling or on a piece of furniture somewhere. Or closing the eyes and really, again, pratyahara, sense withdrawal from outside. Bringing it in more internal to your body. Softening. And again, look out for that tingling sensation, and that's not such a good one to hold, any tingling, so if you need to bring the hands down, no worries. Again, feel if the edge or the sweet spots shifted for you. Make any adjustments you want to make here. It's not fidgeting if we're really aware and just making the right adjustment for what the body's needs are, and then returning, settling back into the stillness. Where do you feel this in your body? Is it on the stretch on the right side of the surface of the body, or is it more in where the spine is, perhaps lower back, or somewhere else in the body? There's no right or wrong, just really going with what the experience is right now. And when you're ready to come out, see if you want to bring head and torso or legs back first. Be really mindful about how you're releasing. And again, just lay here in Savasana and let it echo, or bring the knees to the chest and gently rock from side to side. Or anything else that you want to do. Maybe happy baby again, if that was a good one for you. And if you want to, you can take hold of underneath the thighs and gently start to rock forward and backwards. Getting a good massage along the spine. And you can rock yourself up if you need to put another layer on, put some socks on or a sweater. Actually, let's all come up and we'll do some windshield wipers. Always a good one in Yin, to bring the feet out, kind of pointing in a direction, knees and feet always in the same direction, and supporting yourself with the hands behind you and bringing the knees to one side and then to the other, getting into the hips and the abductors, adductors. Good. And do make sure you're bringing the knees down as far as you can do. Maybe they touch the floor, maybe they don't. But do what you can do, being really aware of what the body's doing. And next time you come to the right, perhaps bring the torso up perpendicular to the floor. Let everything soften, especially that left glute, as we start to take a twist over to the right. Again, supporting yourself with the fingertips and making sure you have height rather than a deep twist. And letting go. Moving back over to the left side. You can do a few windshield wipers in between if you want. And twisting over to the left again, relaxing especially that right glute. And of course, if you feel any cramping or something too uncomfortable, just pull back a little bit. Always giving the spinal column a good squeeze on either side. Central nervous system, highway of information there, body and brain communicating. And let that one go. Give yourself a little hug here. Bowing the head. And you can turn out some lights, close the blinds, get yourself ready with a blanket, and again coming down any way you want to. I like the good old reverse sit up. To slowly come down. And even if you're not cold, it could be really nice to have a blanket, even if it's folded just over the belly and the hips. Feels kind of like a little hug, a little securing pressure there. Just get yourself set up any way that you want to. You have like a very light pillow under the head. Perhaps don't want to be raised too high unless you have vertigo or something like that. But whatever's going to work for you is basically what we're doing here. And you can be in Savasana, or you can have the knees bent. As we move into Yoga Nidra here, the yogic sleep, kind of finding that space that's between sleep and awake. And kind of doorway into our deeper self here. We start with progressive muscle relaxation, first physically moving the body and then moving through it with our own awareness. So you can join me in stretching out the fingers really wide, the arms come away from the body, toes stretch out, legs, start to take a deep breath in through the nose, a slow deep breath. Start filling out the belly by pushing the diaphragm down, belly puffs out, and then open the eyes really wide and the mouth really wide, stick out the tongue as if you could touch the chin, and hold, and let it all go at once. And squeeze the hands into fists and squeeze all the muscles along the arms. You can raise them up a little bit off the floor. Squeeze the toes, squeeze the glutes and all the leg muscles. Squeeze all the muscles of the face and hold the breath after an inhale. Squeeze. And let it all go at once again. And then adjust back into a position that feels right for you. Find a good position for the arms, hands, legs and feet. Feeling the support of the floor holding you, so that you can start to feel the heaviness of the body, the weight. The body is like this beautiful anchor into the world so that we can experience it. This profound science of systems, far more than we can really understand. And let's move through each part of the body with our awareness, not thinking, not sliding into memory, just feeling our way here, starting with the palm of the left hand. All the fingers and the thumb, the back of the hand, and the wrist. And then moving across to the right hand, again starting with the palm. Feeling all the fingers, feel the thumb, and the back of the right hand and wrist. Let's feel the soles of both feet at once, and all of the toes, ankles, tops of the feet and insides, heels. And let's start to move up the back of the legs, feeling our way up the calves, and feeling the shins, coming into the kneecaps, inside the knee joint, and the underside of the knees, coming up the back of the legs, the hamstrings, femur bone, quadriceps, and then resting in that area that's the hip joints, just feeling that area. Feeling the glutes, pelvis, and moving into the belly, feeling the sensation of the belly, feeling lower back, middle back, into the shoulder blades, maybe swirling around the left shoulder blade and then into the right shoulder blade. Feeling around without thinking, just feeling. See if you can feel the rib cage. This beautiful protective structure of heart and lungs working away inside. Feel the chest area. And let's come into the armpits, left and right. And feeling the upper arms on each side. Elbows inside and out. Forearms. And both arms at once. Right to the fingertips. Let's feel the top of the shoulders now. And come up the back of the neck. Inside the throat. Feel a space opening maybe in the throat. Making a space for your expression of self. And feel the jaw, tongue, and the lips soften. Feeling the forehead, all around the eyes. Sweeping across the nose and the cheeks, into the sides of the head. See if you can feel the sensation of both ears, back of the head, and the very top of the head. Now see if you can feel the whole body at once, inside and out, and beyond the surface. Feeling that field of energy, body resting but alive here, awake. And notice how it breathes all by itself. Gentle breath. And let's turn the awareness now to the mind. The mind works so hard. Let's give it a chance to rest here simply by not engaging with the thoughts that it's making. We can welcome the thoughts in but just not attach to them right now. And let's find that space between the thoughts. Space might feel familiar. That unchanging part. A place of peace. That's your true nature. Om. Feel free to stay right here, observing the body and the mind, or nestling into that space in between. Or if you wish to continue into the next phase, just start to deepen the breath gradually here, if you like. Just squeezing a little extra air out next time you exhale. And relaxing and allowing the inhale to happen through the nose. Naturally deeper, having squeezed out that extra air. And then let's do it one more time, gently exhaling and squeezing out that last few drops. And relaxing to naturally draw in extra oxygen. Knowing that as you do, that oxygen reaches every cell of the body, reorganizing and re-energizing. And return the breath to normal if you haven't already. Let it be where it wants to be. And start to bring a little movement now. Anything that you feel called to do. A little wriggling of the fingers and toes. Circles with the ankles and wrists. Oh, a big stretch. Arms overhead. As if you're waking up for the first time today. With full awareness. And gently roll to one side. See which side your body wants to go to. And just pause. You can stay there or gently start to press yourself up. Head comes last. We make our way to a seated position once more here. Getting ready for some breath work. Pranayama, breathing exercises. So do make sure you are comfortable and supported here. You can always lay back down if you feel that's what you need to do, or lean up against a wall. And start to feel again that weight of the body heavy, but also a lightness up through the spine, head floats on top. Let's do the 3-part breath here, Dirghashvasan, complete breath or yogic breath. Start to breathe in through the nose, feeling the diaphragm push down and the belly come out, and then the rib cage moves in all directions, collarbones lift. And as you breathe out, the collarbones relax, rib cage collapses in gently, and the belly comes in a little bit. Inhale again, belly relaxes, rib cage expands, chest raises a little bit. And continuing this cycle, collarbones lower, rib cage relaxes, and belly comes in on the exhale. Continue with those 3 parts, each inhalation and exhalation, moving at your own pace. And perhaps they're not moving all that much, it's very subtle, maybe not even visible. It's something you can feel in the body. And if that's not working for you, no worries, simply just feel the movement of the breath as it's happening naturally for you. Really focusing extra on the exhalation. And notice how the body moves in those three areas: belly, rib cage, all directions, collarbones, and even other parts of the body move with that simple, often unconscious action of breath. And then return the breath to normal if you haven't already. Again, letting it be where it wants to be. And we're moving to a couple of minutes here of silent meditation, dharana meditation, which is focusing on one thing. So you can focus on the tip of your nose, or each time you breathe in, you might say to yourself, silently inhale. And each time you breathe out, exhale. Anything you want to focus on, maybe a beautiful place that feels calm and uplifting. Just choose one thing, and each time the mind starts to pull into a different direction, which it will do several times, you just gently, kindly, like a small child, guide it back to that point of focus over and over again. And that's the practice. Let's all do one Om together going in, and I'll let you know when the time is up. Exhaling fully, deeply inhaling for Om. Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Lead us from unreal to real. Lead us from darkness to the light. Lead us from the fear of death to knowing immortality. Om peace, peace, peace. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May the entire universe be filled with peace, joy, love, and light. Jai Shri Sadguru Maharaj Ki Jai. Thanks so much, everybody, for coming along to Yin today. Hope you found a little bit of relax and peace you can take with you into the rest of the weekend and the week. And feel free to ask any questions or reach out to me on Facebook or whatever. do relaxation yoga Monday and Wednesday, and then yin, usually yin on Saturdays, same time. So feel free to join us. Thanks, Kevin. I'm going to put my Facebook in there in case anyone wants to reach out and ask a question later. No worries, Henry, you're very welcome. And Meg, good to see you all here. And have a beautiful rest of the evening. Sleep well. Some yummy food. And I'll see you next time. Bye.